Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
All right, y'all, welcome in. I know it's been a few days since the biggest, in my opinion, one of the best pay-per-views I've ever been to. AEW All Out. We here to talk about it, review it, grade it, all that good stuff. The Real Big E, MJ Book, and Rob the Ambassador. How y'all feeling? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it was a crazy weekend, crazy good. Mike and I, we drove up Sunday, 5 hours, went to the show, drove back 5 hours Monday. Not a lot of downtime, but you know what, man, it was all worth it because we sat in on, like you said, one of the best pay-per-views in recent memory.
It's always good to be here. Of course, very interesting weekend, traveling down, watching the show, traveling back. I lost my voice earlier, and so it just finally came back a few hours ago, so I couldn't even work. But at least I was able to finally watch Snake Eyes. So I watched it, and I watched your review.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that at the end if
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
We'll talk. Yeah, I'm curious. All right, so we talked about it long enough on our shows. If you're a 3GW head, you know we attended All Out live. If you're new to the show, welcome. But we were there in person, and it was. I mean, start to finish. I mean, there's always a couple things that could be better, but I think even watching this at home, it would have been it would have kept my attention the way it did being there in person. There's nothing like being there in person because a few things happened, which we'll talk about. I posted a video on YouTube if y'all to go check it out. Oh man. Okay, so let's get down to business. On the buy-in, we had the 10-man tag team match: Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. This was one of the better buy-in matches that they had. I don't really agree with Bleacher Report's grade. I actually thought this was pretty damn good, and it was entertaining. It's always good to see how over the Jurassic Express is. I actually thought this would have fit on the card. So that tells you my grade right off the bat. I thought this was pay-per-view worthy. I had fun. The crowd was into it. Obviously, Jurassic Express picked up the win with this one. I mean, that was kind of a layup. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It got me hyped up for the show. Rob?
I'm in agreement. And I think the reason why they had this one start, and I think it was a good choice because it was a good match, like you said. And that theme song by Jurassic Express, some people may hate that thing and the little sing-along that the crowd does with it, but I enjoy it. And it was great to be there and sing along with that silly little song. I just thought it was a good, energetic match to kind of get the crowd pumped and ready. And I enjoyed the match. I, like you, gave it pay-per-view worthy. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but yeah, it shocked me in a good way.
I'm in agreement as well. I gave it a pay-per-view worthy. It was a good way definitely to start out the whole card. Even though this was on the buy-in, this definitely could have fit in with the whole pay-per-view. But they already had a pretty stacked card, so something had to be on the buy-in, and unfortunately it was these guys, but they did a very good job. The Jurassic Express, of course, the sing-along, everybody was bopping and loving that and everything. Of course, it was good to see Orange Cassidy. Great to see the Best Friends. So they got the W. Great way to start. Pay-per-view worthy.
All right, get into the main show. Here we got the TNT Championship. Eddie Kingston challenging Miro. This surprised me. It really did. I don't know if I've ever seen Eddie Kingston have a better match, quite frankly. And I'm a Miro fan. I liked him when he was Rusev in WWE, and I think this is as over as Rusev was. I think this has a potential to be better. I like it. I think he takes it serious, and he wrestles better. It's like they let him wrestle his style, and him and Eddie Kingston had great chemistry. This match was hard hitting. They fought on the outside. I felt like this was great. The only thing was just the ending was a little cliche, kind of the ref doesn't see the low blow, and then Miro with the kick. But I mean, outside of that, I thought the match itself was executed very well. And while Eddie Kingston lost, he doesn't look bad in the loss because Miro didn't win clean. So I again, pay-per-view worthy. And I'm still enjoying the hell out of myself at this time at All Out. So, yeah. Book.
Can't go with you on this one. Unfortunately for me, I have to go TV quality. Not a total rip on the match. It was a better Eddie Kingston showing from him. Some odd reason, other than just the fact that I just wanted Miro to stomp him, I just didn't connect with the match for some reason. I wanted Miro to win. I was chanting and yelling for Miro, but for some odd reason, I just didn't get invested totally. And I thought I would get a little more invested considering I don't like Eddie Kingston. So don't know why, don't know what happened with this match, but I just wasn't feeling it totally. Not enough to make it middle of the road, but couldn't make it pay-per-view worthy. So TV quality, high TV quality, but TV quality.
Okay, well, I'm in agreement with Big E, although I see some of the points Book is trying to make, but I enjoyed this match. I gave it pay-per-view worthy. I knew it would be physical, and my worry was, would Eddie Kingston be able to put up a good enough show for the match to be interesting? And he did. I think Eddie probably, like you said, Big E, probably wrestled the best match that I have seen him wrestle. I admit that I don't watch AEW on the regular, so maybe I'm missing something, but as far as what I've seen from Eddie Kingston, this was the best I had seen from him. I really think Miro has grown into this character of the Redeemer, of God's favorite champion. I really think it's working for him. And I agree the ending was a little cliche, but with Miro being the heel, I thought it was heel shit and it worked. So yeah, pay-per-view worthy for me on this one.
Right on. Right on. And I was hoping the good brother, the inside man, be able to join us tonight because I really wanted to get his thoughts on this next one because he is, him and Book are kind of the New Japan aficionados, experts.
Him a little more than me.
Yeah. But, talking Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. Book, I'm gonna let you kick it off here. What did you think of this match?
Oh, okay. Well, I know people were worried about Kojima because of his age, and I could totally understand it. But he's a great worker, and for those who had not seen him, I think we're pleasantly surprised. He didn't move around like somebody of his age, so he had a very good showing. Moxley was Moxley. I at the beginning of him there, I was loving him, but now I don't know what, but I think his act has worn so thin. I'm just seeing the same shit. And it's like, I need to see something else now. His act is worn. And unfortunately for Kojima, I had to give this a TV quality. I'm just over Moxley. I'm just over it. He just has not really impressed me. Most of his matches have been middle of the road or TV quality with me, except for Kenny Omega. So I don't know what it is, but again, it was another disconnect. Not Kojima, but all Moxley, TV quality.
Now, which Omega match are you talking? You're not talking about the barbed wire death match.
No, not that.
No, the lights out match, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to get clear on
lights
that.
out.
Yes.
All
The
right.
previous matches before
but
that.
I just want to be sure. All right. Well, for me, I was pleasantly surprised because look, I have to admit, I had never heard of Kojima. I feel badly that I have not paid attention to New Japan because apparently I'm missing out on a lot of great matches, a lot of great wrestlers. So I didn't go into this one being particularly excited or expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. Kojima didn't look like he was 50 at all. This guy could have passed for late 30s, early 40s at the worst. And I thought I thought this match crept into pay-per-view worthy. Okay. I thought it would be physical, and I thought these guys would put on a decent show, and they did. I'm going to give it pay-per-view worthy, but just it barely crept in there. And that doesn't mean it was a bad match. It was a solid match, but it just, like I said, not knowing Kojima. And so it's hard to get invested in a feud when you don't know one of the wrestlers. It's hard to get invested in the match and to really have that emotional attachment to it. But just from a straight wrestling match, just two guys going at it, I thought it was pretty good. So I'll give it pay-per-view worthy, but it just crept in there.
Okay. Well, I'm about to piss everybody off with this. Like Rob said, I'm not familiar with Kojima. And watching this match live and in person, and I'm looking around at the crowd, listening, and people were sitting on their hands. So as was I, because I didn't care. And Book, like you just said as well, Moxley is just kind of getting old and stale too. So unfortunately, I gotta get this bullshit. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I just did not care. And as bad as another match is later, I just felt like this sucked the air out of the room. Like you went from two hot matches to silencing the whole arena until the post match. The post match woke everybody back up. So again, this is just my own personal thing. Sorry guys, but that's just where I'm at with it. But like I said, this match felt like it was just a setup anyway, because we would get the arrival of I don't want to mess this up. Was it Suzuki?
Minoru Suzuki.
Minoru Suzuki. And I mean, and these must look, people in Chicago recognize the music and everything. They knew who this was. And I'll appreciate that. I'll appreciate the back and forth, the him and Moxley going at it. They got a match tomorrow on Dynamite. So I appreciate all that, but the match itself, bell to bell, it ain't work for me.
You would appreciate this, Rob. Suzuki's got an MMA past.
You know what? I actually looked up Suzuki because when he came out, the crowd seemed to go wild. They really seemed to recognize who he was.
Legend.
Yeah, know his background. The screens referred to him as the King. So I was curious, and I Googled him, and yeah, this guy apparently has not just a wrestling background, but a pretty impressive mixed martial arts background. He actually is the innovator of a form of fighting that is pretty much his own, that he innovated. So I was impressed by what I found out about him. And I'll say this, even though I didn't know who he was, I could see the respect that Moxley had for both he and Tajima. Obviously, having wrestled in Japan and being familiar with these guys, you know, Moxley would do these things. He did this to both of them as a show of respect. I really enjoyed that and thought that was cool. And I'm looking forward to Wednesday night when he and Moxley will have a match.
All right. Right on. Getting into what I feel like was, again, one of the better matches on the card. Chris Statlander going up against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for that AEW Women's Championship. Looking back, I feel like this match went on a little early. It just felt like it could have went later in the card, but it's okay. It's all good. Chris Statlander has come a long way. I mean, from that very first, I want to say the first Double or Nothing,
Ugh.
in those first couple AEW pay-per-views to now, her wrestling is way better, and she is a freak of nature. How strong she is! The feats of strength. I don't know if y'all noticed, they were trying to do some type of suplex off the top rope, and you could tell Chris Statlander did majority of the work with ease. And on Rampage, she not suplex, but she had two women. She was holding one, and one was on her shoulders, and she dropped both of them. I mean, she's ridiculously strong. And she looked strong in this match, even in the loss. But the real highlight of the match, though, let's keep it real, was Britt Baker hitting what they call the Pittsburgh Sunrise on Chris Statlander, and then hitting even the curb stomp, and she kicked out of all of that, and then eventually submitted to Lockjaw. If you rewind the clock back to NXT TakeOver 36, Adam Cole used Lockjaw on Kyle O'Reilly. So it was kind of that subtle hint to kind of let people know that, yeah, he's here. This was probably, I dare say, the best women's match in AEW I've ever seen. And to be there in person, I don't know. Maybe I might just be overlooking something. I'll put that out there now. But it definitely is up there, top three, for sure. It's definitely top three. And the crowd reaction had played a part in that as well. I thought they were very animated, and especially when she hit that Pittsburgh Sunrise, that got a huge pop. But Britt Baker retains. No shame in losing to her. Chris Statlander one day will be champion, and she's gonna be a star. Rob, what'd you think? This was pay-per-view worthy for me. Sorry, but go ahead.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. All right, well, look, I love this match. Up to this point, this was my favorite match of the night, and we have talked often about how the ladies in AEW really need to step their game up, and these two ladies did that on this huge stage in what everyone knew was probably the biggest pay-per-view AEW has ever had. And Chris Statlander, I missed the boop, but you know what? At the same time, I think it's better for her because I think you can take her more seriously as a competitor. I don't know what she did with her time away, but she has come back a completely different wrestler. She is so improved. And like you said, how strong she is, to me, it's only a matter of time before she is eventually champion. Right now, Britt Baker is still the right lady to be the champion, but I went superb on this one. All right. We've beat up the ladies on this show with AEW, and justifiably so. But you know what? Maybe it's the emotion. I'm there in person. It's a hot crowd. We've seen some decent matches up to this point. To me, this one was the best. And I was completely invested in this match. Going into it, I know who both of these ladies are, but did I at the beginning, did I really care who won? No, because I had already predicted that Britt Baker would win. But Chris Statlander, the way this match played out, the story they told, there was a couple of moments in that match I really believe she might actually win it. That's how great these women performed in this match. But it wasn't to be. Britt Baker won. But I was entertained all the way through, man, and I went superb on this one.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. I was almost there. It's a high pay-per-view quality for me. Pay-per-view worthy. Sorry, pay-per-view worthy. All right, Book. I see the face, man. I'm just come on with it. Come on with it.
All righty. Obviously, we've talked about a lot the women's division needing to improve. That's coming a lot from me being very, very negative on that women's division. I have called it a piece of shit trash. I've said it needs to be dumped. So I was nervous having to witness a women's match in front of me. Of course, Statlander is one of the main reasons because she had one of the worst damn matches I had ever seen. But she has tremendously improved. She is not the same person. If you told me that this Chris Statlander and that Chris Statlander were the same person, I just wouldn't believe you. She's completely morphed. She is completely changed. She obviously knew she had a lot of work to do, and she has clearly been working at her craft. And Britt Baker got the W, but I think the real winner in this is Chris Statlander because she really got to show what she can do. And she showed, hey, look, there may be other women you might be thinking are going to be a champion, but you need to start looking at me. So she impressed the hell out of me. I am not going to say it was superb, but I understand why you would say it. I'm going to agree, though, with the real Big E and say this is pay-per-view worthy. But definitely a very good match. I can't say that it was a top 3 women's match, but it's close. It's close to being up there. There's 2 or 3 I might be able to say we're a little better, but it's definitely on the high end, and there's not exactly a lot of them up there. So major props to these two. They did a great job. They showed that the women's division, there is hope as long as there's wrestlers like this in there. So pay-per-view worthy, high pay-per-view worthy.
Well, I think there is hope based on something that happens later. There's hope. There's a lot of hope in the women's division. Okay. I don't know if you're even ready to talk about this shit. Oh man. I you know, we ran over the list of events that all of us have been to. And we talked about matches that we were emotionally involved in and that we'll never forget. I was there for that, this and that. Okay. Now, and when we talked about on the prediction show that this was going to be the show stealer, and by God, it was. No doubt, hands down. But even going into the show, no matter who was going to win, we knew this was going to be the best thing on the card. We had high expectations. As far as I'm concerned, they blew my expectations out of the water. No matter what I thought they were going to do, they absolutely fucking killed it. From the Lucha Bros entrance, even though I'm not familiar with the Hispanic rapper, but that was their theme song, and they came out and they had some pageantry. That's why I always said that All Out is AEW's WrestleMania. Because look at all the pageantry on the show, and you had the Bucks come out. I couldn't really tell what their outfits were a tribute to. I even looked on their social media. I still don't get it, but they were doing some kind of cosplay. And getting to the match, though, I said it before, I'll say it again. Rey Fenix is absolutely insane. He is a monster. There was a point in the match when he was walking the top of the cage. That was had a little scary moment, but he recovered. But man, and I had said before that there's a chance that they could do a spot off the top of the cage or somebody might get thrown through the cage. That didn't happen, but there was some props thrown into the cage that this is one of the things, the only downside to kind of being there live, you miss some things. I didn't realize that the Jordans that they threw in the ring had thumbtacks on the bottom of them. So when they did the super kick, that was why at the end you could tell that Penta was a bloody fucking mess. But you really, really, really got to go back and watch this match if you don't watch anything else, and that's even including CM Punk on this card, okay? If you don't watch anything else, you have to watch this match. This is how you do it. This is how you do a cage match, period, point blank, period. Most cage matches are boring. This was not. This was exciting. I mean, edge of your seat. I don't know how many times I fell out because I thought it was the near falls. I bid on every single one of them. They got me. They got me. Okay. And I wanted Lucha Bros to win so bad, and they finally did. So I was just so happy. And I'm loving this. I'm loving the show. I'm loving the card. Great wrestling. The crowd is so hot in Chicago, and yeah, that's all. I could go on, but Ambassador, go ahead.
Okay, I had said on the prediction show that we had the chance to witness something extremely special in this match. And damn it, we did. We did. You know, from the moment when you're there in person, what happens? There are two big screens on either side of the ramp where they walk out. So you get to know what match is coming up based on what they're showing on the screen. So as soon as the crowd realizes this is the match coming up, the energy already goes up another level. And then the cage starts to lower and the crowd just gets hotter with anticipation. Biggie, you mentioned the entrance, and like you, I don't know who the gentlemen were who brought the Lucha Bros to the ring. And then Young Bucks come to the ring. All of the men are in the cage and the bell rings. And I'm telling you guys, we've all been to many shows in person, big shows. We've seen big matches. The energy in that arena throughout the whole course of this match, what these four men did, I mean, it's almost hard to put into words what we witnessed. It was absolutely amazing, incredible. It was everything that you would think these four men could do. And we've seen them go at it a few times, right? Does it ever get old?
2 years ago.
Is it ever anything less than absolutely epic and spectacular? Now, I'm not going to try to compare this to past matches. To me, all of their matches have been off the charts incredible. Look, my grade, Biggie, I don't know if I remember what your grade was, but obviously mine, this is an instant classic.
Oh, I didn't even give mine. Yes, instant classic. You couldn't tell from my excitement. It is an instant classic for sure. No doubt. Hands down, the best match on the card.
Okay, and I assumed that it was. For me, absolute instant classic. Like you, I had predicted the Lucha Bros to win. I wanted them to win, but the main reason why I wanted them to win is because, look, I have the utmost respect for the Young Bucks. I don't care whether they're heroes or not. I don't look at that. I look at what you bring to the ring. Okay, and these are the two best tag teams in the world today, hands down, no contest. The Lucha Bros got over this time. I was happy for them. It was a great moment. But what I like even better about it is because the Lucha Bros got over, we know for sure we are going to see these four men wrestle each other again. And I am all about it. I can't wait for it. I can watch these four wrestle day after day after day. It would never get old. It would always be spectacular. This occasion was no different. But for me personally, it being there in person and being able to witness it and feel the energy in that arena, a moment in wrestling I will never, ever forget. Come on.
First, let me just move out of the way. Respect to this match. Hell of a match. Oh, it hurts me wearing this thing still. Obviously.
Keep it real. Keep it real.
I know it hurts. It still hurts, but I'm still I have not changing. I am still with my Young Bucks. They will eventually get the rematch and they will beat those motherfuckers' ass. But I'm sorry, I'm still pissed. But this match was exactly what we all knew it was going to be. Scene stealer, match of the night. I think I said that this will be a match that we will look at as possibly match of the year. And right now, hands down, it is. There's just nothing close to it right now. And I doubt something's going to beat it. And you could argue this could be match of the decade, match of the years 2000. You can argue this may be the greatest match that has ever happened in a wrestling ring. I'm definitely going to throw it out there. It is the greatest tag team match I've ever seen. Period. But
I would agree.
But that typically happens when you have the Young Bucks in there, and when you put them in there against the Luchas, it's almost a guarantee. Anything less would be, like the old commercials said, uncivilized. So this is an instant damn classic. I mean, it's just so obvious. Big time props to these two teams. Anytime they get in there, it's magic. I was privileged and I was honored to be able to watch it. I wish the Bucks would have won, obviously, because after the match was over, I had to have a few beers to sully my mood. But this was still an entertaining match. I did get to start a chant. I've never done that before, but I started chanting "Fight Forever" and people started chanting it. Rob even looked at me. You started that. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, you did.
So that I've never done before. And it's perfectly fitting that it would be with this match. Honored, privileged. This was an amazing show. I feel bad for anybody who ever has to wrestle again, especially in tag teams. That's what you're going to be always compared to, is that. Good luck. Instant classic. Wow. And
yeah, it was nuts.
I'm with this now.
It was nuts. I don't know. I thought my voice was gonna be gone after that match because I was into it. I felt bad for the lady sitting next to me. You know, her and her husband. He was into it. I don't know how much she seemed to be a semi-fan because she was recording a lot of stuff and she seemed familiar with most of the wrestlers, but you know, I've sat next to all kinds of people at these shows. So man, that match though.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was curious, what the hell could they put on after that? And I kind of figured, and I had been holding my water for quite a bit, and I didn't care what was next. Damn it, I had to go. But it would indeed be the Casino Battle Royale for the women, and the winner would get a women's championship match. And so here's the order of entry. First was Clubs, Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, Emi Sakura, The Bunny, and Abaddon. Diamonds was Anna Jay, Kiera Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Hearts was Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Spades, Ty Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, oh yeah, and Rebel, not Reba. And of course, the Joker, Ruby Soho, aka Ruby Riot, someone I had the pleasure of meeting back in 2019. She could have been a nicer person, and I'm so happy for her. The pop she got, that reaction was huge. She looked great. She wrestled great. And normally the Joker doesn't win these things, but I think she's the first Joker to win, male or female. And obviously she's signed with the company, and she's wrestling tomorrow night. She's making her Dynamite debut. Happy for her. Like I said, had the pleasure of meeting her on the way to Royal Rumble, and wish her nothing but the best. Again, this was consistent with the night as me. This was probably one of the better casino battle royales. Now there was some, uh, people didn't like some of the eliminations, how fast they happened, which I agree with. Someone was a little quick, like Riho was out quick, Hikaru Shida was out quick. I think everybody and their mama thought Jade Cargill had this in the bag, and then she didn't. So, again, I still have to give this pay-per-view worthy. I thought it was fun. The crowd was still into this. They were into this, and I thought the women did a good job. And then that big pop from Ruby all helped this. So that's all I can see it. It was great. Rob, what'd you think?
Coming into this show, the hardest thing for me was the fact that we were there in person. I had to try to ask myself, okay, are you going to be bringing your emotions into this show? Are you going to be giving grades higher than you normally would because you're actually there? And then I just said, you know what? Damn it, I don't care. I went pay-per-view worthy on this one. This was a match I really particularly wasn't looking forward to. I thought that Ruby Soho might show up, but I didn't think that would be enough to make the match great if it wasn't great. You know what I mean? But I thought all these ladies did pretty well in a division, once again, that we have not been very nice to, justifiably. But Sunday night, I thought these women showed up, showed out, and then even though we kind of knew it was coming, actually seeing Ruby Soho, who is just such a nice lady, and it was such a nice moment for her. How could you not be happy about it? And so, yeah, for me, that elevated the match. So pay-per-view worthy for me. At this point on this card, I'm just so fucking glad I got tickets to this thing. I'm so fucking glad I'm here right now. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just having a great time at this point.
Yeah. Right on.
Once again, back with the women. And yeah, I was definitely nervous about this as well, because there are some women in there that are bleh. But I am going to actually give this pay-per-view worthy. I have to admit, though, there was a small bit of pleasure in seeing Jade Cargill get eliminated, because I got to look over to my left at somebody slumping in their chair, and it felt a little good. It felt good after what had just happened with my Young Bucks. I was like, okay, this feels a little good. It doesn't completely even it out, but it closes the gap a little bit for me. I said on this show, in the prediction show, I told you both, Ruby, Soho, I told you both she was going to show. Why y'all didn't know it, I have no idea. It was all over the place. I don't know what you were looking on, but it was there. So
we don't look.
I was trying not to follow the dirt sheets. I wanted the shot. I wanted the pop.
I wanted the surprise.
I knew she was going to be there, and thank God she was there. She, as good as the match was going, she greatly improved it. And I think I said it to you, Rob. If she wins this, it's a fuck you to Vince, because Vince, you never should have gotten rid of this woman. Of the women there, you could have gotten rid of Eva Marie. Nobody would have missed that bitch. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be blunt. Ruby is a talent, very talented. And as I've heard, and as you can probably vouch, Eric, a very sweet lady, very nice and very kind. I've heard nothing but good things about her. So to see her win this, it just felt good. She deserved it. This was something she has been fighting for and never got the opportunity for it elsewhere. She got it right away here. It was great to see her win. I was glad to see her win. And it did up the grade a little bit to see her win this, because she deserves it. She has fought so hard. She deserves this moment. So pay-per-view worthy, high pay-per-view worthy. probably overall the best women's night AEW's had when they've had more than one women's match.
Yeah. I'll never forget that time I saw her in the airport, and it was just an amazing way to kick off Royal Rumble that weekend. So it was I'll never forget it for sure.
That's for you, Ruby.
Yeah, I'm glad
yeah.
for you, Ruby. But as a quick aside, Big E, Chris Statlander, Jade Cargill face to face. Are you there for that?
Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. Ooh,
We're bound to see it sooner or later.
Yeah, but I
You may
just
see
don't
it
know who
sooner than later. You're probably going to see that sooner than later.
I just don't know who I would go for because I like them both, but maybe I like Chris Statlander a little more just because I appreciate how she's developed. So I would probably give her the nod, even though Jay Cargill is an absolute beast, and I mean that in the best way possible. I don't know. That's a toss-up right there. That'd be tough. That'd be tough. All right, so we ready to talk about the biggest troll job in wrestling history?
I loved it.
Oh man, MJF boy, I had to bow down after this one. This is pretty good. So I'm sure they showed it on the event too. So you get the Jericho, the countdown when he first debuted in WWF. And we're all like, oh, Jericho's going retro. Okay. And then the countdown ends. Fade to black, pyro. And then you get the rollover letters that say Jericho's last match. And you know it's MJF. It's like, oh, man. You got us. He got everybody.
He is one of the greatest heels already. He is a great heel. Fearless.
He got everybody with that because the reaction was like, oh, only person, in our row, Rob was cracking up.
Oh, man. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And dare I say, and Book, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the late, great Roddy Piper was looking down and he was so proud. And he was saying, go on, young man.
That's what I said. No fear. Piper wore that shirt. No fear. The great heels, that's how you got to be. You have got to have no fear. Who cares if you piss off a kid? No fear.
Now, his entrance was flawless.
This was funny.
Jericho, however, man, I get it. Majority of the shows, everybody knows the words and we can sing along, but the song is playing in the background. So if we get off key, if we get off chorus, it's okay because the song's in the back. We can hear it. We're over here now. We all fucked that song up.
Y'all did.
I am not sure if we fucked it up or if that guitarist fucked it up.
Well, the guitarist did too, because he played the same section twice. So we all thought it was, okay, well, it is what it is, okay?
It was
funny. Awful.
It was hysterical.
Podcast, shout out to Wrestling Inc. podcast. They talked about it too. They were like, yeah, something was wrong. And they really blamed the guitarist because he played the wrong section. He played the same section twice. Is really what he did. So the crowd went with it. Jericho seemed unfazed, but
I'm sure he was not unfazed when he got to the back.
He was probably thinking in his mind, like, yeah, that's not how you do it, but okay.
If they hire that guitarist more often, I might pay attention to the song more often.
That's his guitarist too. That was Fozzy.
I figured.
I looked it up.
Not much longer. At least not for wrestling shows.
Yeah, that was his boy. Like, you should. This is your song too, guy. I mean, how you fuck that up? But as far as the match, I thought this was okay. This was better than I thought it was gonna be. And I said during the match, I know people, at least I know Bookie talked about it. I think MJF is a better wrestler than they'll give him credit for, especially here. He was really telling the story in this match. And the only thing that took away from the match, really, normally Wardlow is, we expect Wardlow to get involved and all that stuff, but him and Jake Hager took away from this thing. It just seemed out of place, forced in there. I didn't care for that little. They didn't even make it to the ring, so I was like, "What the hell was the point?" But outside of that, I thought the psychology was good. Having a little trouble recalling everything from this match, but I do remember that it was solid. It was solid. I don't know that they quite reached pay-per-view quality, pay-per-view worthy, but I will give it TV quality, a high TV quality. And I caught off guard. I really thought MJF was going to win this match and we were going to see Jericho's last, but was not to be. As Jericho picks up the win, and he's going to be around. He's going to still be around. The Painmaker, Les Champions. All right, Book. I know you like MJF. What'd you think?
Well, maybe the guitarist, first off, maybe he had a little bit of the bubbly, and that's what happened, and he messed it up. But as far as the match, I've said it a few times about Jericho. It looks like he doesn't care. Why should I? He showed in this match he cared. Now, eventually, the inevitable did occur that you could see him start to wear out. He did start to get tired. And normally, they keep the match going far too long when that happens. They didn't do that this time. They either knew, hey, Jericho might have given a clue, say, hey, look, I'm starting to gas. We need to bring it home. It's time to come home. Because it started to end relatively quick at that point, which was a good decision. Because once he gets tired, it starts to drag, and that's when things get bad. I'm actually going to give this pay-per-view worthy, but barely. Kind of a low pay-per-view worthy. And that's because Jericho lasted longer. He performed a lot better. In recent pay-per-views, this is probably the best Jericho has actually performed. And MJF, I've said he is a legendary heel, but his wrestling has been shit. It's just been shit. This is probably the best match he's had that I've seen recently in AEW. So maybe the time with Jericho is finally synced into that noggin. Let's see if it's something he can carry over and put together several matches like this. But if MJF can continue to do this, he may actually get to that level of being the greatest heel ever if he can get the wrestling in with how great a heel he is. But pay-per-view worthy, and I thought this was going to be the worst match of the night. And surprisingly, it wasn't, but just barely pay-per-view worthy.
For me, it was pay-per-view worthy, and it wasn't barely pay-per-view worthy. It was a solid pay-per-view worthy. I have spoken out about MJF and not being impressed with his wrestling skills, but Sunday night, completely different MJF for me. I have to tell you, this match, this was the first prediction I got wrong, by the way. And here's what I like about it. Why I'm cool with being wrong. This whole thing, the 5 stages that they went through, by the time this story was done, they had me convinced that this might be the last go around for Jericho. We've all talked about his conditioning right now. I'll say it that way. We've talked about how he's not quite the wrestler that he used to be. At his age, okay, fine. You know, look, man, I'm in my 50s. I'm not the man I used to be. I get it. But it's great storytelling when you can draw me in and have me convinced, okay, Jericho, he's really getting ready to say goodbye. And then the match starts and we see the retro entrance of Jericho. And I'm thinking, wow, so Jericho, he's going old school. This must really be it. But oh, guess what? That was MJF trolling. I mean, everything about this match, the way it played out was just had me hanging on everything they did. And then during the match, look, was this a great wrestling display by either guy? It wasn't great, but it was good enough to make it intriguing and to keep me engaged. You know, like I said, man, once again, at this point in the match, in the card, I'm like, what an epic night. And we're here watching it live and we have damn good seats. Yeah, pay-per-view worthy. Yeah, this was a solid match, a match that I had low expectations for. It exceeded those expectations. And I predicted Jericho to lose, but wow, what do you know? He won. And he looked pretty good doing it. Pay-per-view worthy. All over this card at this point.
I think I forgot to mention earlier, you know, everybody goes to these wrestling shows and everybody wants to sit ringside or I want to sit on the floor. Unless you're like around the guardrail, you don't want to sit ringside because you can't see shit. It's just flat. There's no riser. Unless you're tall, you're not going to see a damn thing. I am okay with sitting higher up to see everything and just not be further away. My opinion, our seats were straight on. I could see the ramp and the ring. Those were perfect seats, no obstructed view. And we were at the bottom of the 200 section. So there's nobody sitting in front of us. Everybody's behind us. And we had the aisle seat. So it was absolutely perfect. Rob did a fantastic job getting these tickets. I mean, you do know you are the ticket guy from now on.
Hey, and that's okay, man. I'm good with that. And I got them at face value. Okay. Some people probably paid 5 or 10 times more than we paid for our tickets. We got ours at face value.
Oh, yeah. And that's all you, man. All props to you.
Big props to you. And one other thing, the crowd, some of the chants, particularly during this match,
man,
not an MJF pro crowd except for me and this section across the way. A few MJF chants.
These were some vicious chants all night, man.
Crowd was very salty. Very salty.
Here is what's great about that is that a heel is supposed to be hated. You're supposed to hate the heel. Now, sometimes a heel is so cool, people like him. But MJF is to me a great heel. Once again, I'm going to call out his name. Greatest heel of all time. I feel Roddy Piper. So despicable, so fearless, unafraid to do or say anything, no matter how offensive it is. Most people are just going to hate that guy. And today in wrestling today, MJF is that guy.
He's a rarity. MJF is a Roddy Piper. For ECW fans, Dudley Boys, these were fearless heels. And it's only going to be more worth it somewhere down the line if they ever decide to do it, however they do it. Should he ever turn face, he'll be a huge, I don't think they should, but there's going to come a point where fans are just going to think he's just too cool.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
If he ever turns face, it'll be like Triple H, where it's like, okay, you've done so much, and he'll go away for a little bit and he'll come back and it's like, we're glad to see you. Yeah, I used to hate you, but now I respect the hell out of you. I like you. That's kind of how Triple H became this, babyface. He can never be a heel again. He could try, but it won't work,
Oh.
But there was a point in time I absolutely despise the sight of Triple H. That was his
Not
goal.
me.
Ugh.
Me.
Ugh. All right, Book. Got your sleeves.
Do I have my sleeves? You mean these?
Yeah, time to get straight edge, baby. Because we're talking about the straight edge superstar. The Chicago-made Punk, baby, is back in wrestling. And he's taking on Darby Allin in what was an incredible return to the ring that we were present to see. And it's just so cool singing along with the crowd, doing the cult of personality. And I even like Darby Allin's entrance, to be honest with you. I like Darby Allin a lot. I think he's fantastic. I think he's good. He's a homegrown. He's one of the very few homegrown superstars, and he's going to be a world champion one day, I believe. Punk obviously come out and gets a huge pop. Some concern maybe going into the match. It's been 7 years. How are you going to look? Is it going to be rusty? Is it going to be rusty? Personally, I thought for somebody that had not wrestled in an actual ring in a televised match, he looked fine. I didn't really catch any. There was no botches, for sure. If there was some rust, I couldn't see it from where we were sitting. Maybe if you're ringside, you catch little subtle things. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe watching at home. Maybe you do. I don't know. From where we were sitting, which was really good seats, could see everything. I thought he looked fine. I thought he took bumps well. Could tell that maybe he forgot how much those bumps hurt because he took one to the outside and he hit the guardrail and he kind of looked like, oh yeah, this does hurt.
That body hasn't been calloused in a while.
Yeah. But man, I thought these two had great chemistry. I like that Darby Allin went for the coffin drop and he sat up like the Undertaker and says he missed. I thought that was pretty funny. He hit the first GTS and Darby kind of fell out of the ring, so he couldn't cover him. But he would eventually hit Darby with a second one and get the win. I thought it was a great match. Obviously, the crowd participation was very, 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 very high on this one. And as it should, it's pay-per-view worthy. It was great. It was fun. I was into it. Punk being back, getting to see it. This is my second return Punk match that I've seen in person. I was there for Jericho Punk 2013 at Payback. And now I'm there once again for CM Punk taking on Darby Allin in a whole different wrestling promotion. So very fortunate to say that I've done that. And who better to be there with than my brothers in wrestling. So, yeah. Book. What'd you think?
Boy. I mean, first off, there you go. Got my CM Punk shirt there. Got to see the man CM Punk. Thought I would never see him again, hoping he would come back, knowing it wouldn't be in WWE, but I'm like, damn it. This career should not have ended this soon. And we got our tickets. And we knew there's a chance that maybe CM Punk might walk out and talk. But we damn sure weren't thinking wrestle. And when it got announced, CM Punk Darby, we all were giddy. We did a show that night. It was an amazing, amazing experience. And then they show them on that screen that that's the next match. And the energy level in the building, it's hard to describe it, but you could feel the energy just shoot all the way through you. And Darby, I'm glad Chicago treated him good because they could have been cussing him out. Now, there was a few people, but he got a good pop. Darby got a good pop, and that's good. He deserves it. Darby is a very likable, very good, one of the best wrestlers, will be definitely AEW champion someday. But of course,
So they chanted Darby Allin after the match.
But of course, as soon as he's sitting in that ring, the chant starts, CM Punk, CM Punk. You hear that opening note and boom, the place blows up. An amazing, amazing scene. And CM Punk, was there any rust? There was some minor stuff, but so minor that it's just nitpicky. And it's stuff you can easily forgive. The guy hadn't been in there for quite a while. So the fact that it was just minute, completely forgivable. An amazing, amazing match. Maybe it's just the fact that I love CM Punk so much. Maybe it's a part of the environment. I try not to get the environment to force my grade up, but I don't give a shit because this will never be experienced again. I'm just going to call it an instant classic. I don't care. It wasn't just the wrestling, which was actually very, very good. It's the emotion, the feeling, the energy in that building. At one point, half the crowd seemed like they were chanting Darby Allin, CM Punk. All of a sudden, that chant started, and Darby had a pretty fair amount of people cheering for him there. Of course, they're probably just enjoying the moment, which, again, it was a great, great environment. Maybe I'm overgrading it, but I just have to be real. And it's such a unique environment, and that probably pushes it up a few grades. I could have just stayed at pay-per-view worthy, but the crowd pushes it. It's an instant classic. We will never see an event probably like that ever again. And as we've said numerous times, we were there, and that's probably what's going to push it. Instant classic. Damn amazing. Honored to have been there.
Well, damn, can't be mad about it. This is the shirt I wore Sunday night. All right. That's it. And if you're wondering if it's been washed, no, it hasn't. Okay. All right. I wanted all of the energy, everything that went with that night. I wanted it on this shirt for this podcast. I'll wash it tomorrow. Now, a couple of things. First of all, how many moments in wrestling are like the one we witnessed Sunday night? You have a legendary wrestler who left the biggest wrestling company in history. And it had gotten to the point where a lot of people thought this guy, he's done with wrestling. He's doing other things. He tried MMA and he's never going to come back. Now, when we bought our tickets, we thought maybe, possibly there were some rumblings, but we didn't really know. As the show came closer, what do you know? CM Punk is here. And then a couple of weeks ago, he's on Rampage, huge pop. So we know we're going to see CM Punk in his first match, his first wrestling match in 7 years. That is a significant moment in wrestling history, in all of wrestling history. And we were going to get to witness that. And Sunday night, we did. Now, was the match itself the most spectacular match or the greatest match ever? No. But was that moment one of the greatest moments ever in wrestling? Oh, hell yeah, it was. So even though I'm going to go pay-per-view worthy, Mike's grade of an instant classic, I am not mad about, because that moment in history, in wrestling history, is a classic moment. And people will be talking about it for years, and there will be hundreds of thousands of people swearing they were there, but the three of us know that we were there. Mm-hmm. So you have Darby Allin come out, and Darby Allin gets a huge pop, and deservedly so. He's a fan favorite. He's coming out with the icon Sting. I love how the whole match played out. Sting came out, but then he went backstage, class act, because he's not going to interfere with the match. He's going to let these two young men fight it out. And then, look, I'm a Living Color fan. I've seen these guys in concert twice. I love them. So when I hear that guitar riff, I'm pumped anyway. But when I know CM Punk is walking out to that riff, I'm on my feet. I'm singing along. My fist is in the air. It's like I'm at a damn concert. The adrenaline is off the charts. I love it. And we talked about, okay, ring rust. I don't know if I saw rust. I may have saw nerves, You're talking about a guy who's in front of his hometown hero in front of his hometown, fighting his first wrestling match in 7 years. So maybe there's some nerves, but I didn't see anything that I thought was, like Book said, a botch or egregious. I thought he looked smooth in there. Now, is he capable of better? Of course, we know CM Punk is capable of better, but this is his first match in 7 years. You know,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he exceeded my expectations because I expected to see some rust, and I would have been okay with that. He's been out of the ring 7 years, but solid match. And then at the end of it, Sting walks out. He's there for Darby.
Now, I gotta ask you: did you think Sting was gonna call him out?
Who
for like, you know, a feud, like future feud?
I really
It
did.
looked that way.
It almost did, but I think they planned it that way just to add to the drama. But in the end, I believe Sting, being the Sting that he is, was just going to show his respect. Hey, dude, it was a good battle. You were the better man tonight. And I think that was better. Everybody leaves happy because obviously the hometown hero gets over, but Darby Allin still looks strong and classy in a hard-fought loss. How can that scenario play out any better?